What's going on, family? It's your guy, Border Lucky Libra. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. As y'all can see by the title, we're picking up the Signs Through the Houses series with Aquarius in the 7th house. Shout out to all my Leo risings in the building, all right? So before we get into it, make sure to like, share, subscribe so we can circulate these gems, all right? Let's make sure they start touching other people and whatnot, all right? Let's bring people up into the tribe. And make sure to tap into my website if you like to connect with the Lucky Libra, and tap into my Patreon if you like to dive deeper. Let's get right into it. All right, guys. So the 7th house, what area like does the 7th house represent in the birth chart? One-on-one relationships, partnerships, all right? How we deal with interacting with others, the things we may experience in our relationships, the things we may experience, the traits that the people that we attract in our lives may have, right? The temperament to our relationships a lot of the time. And most importantly, the 7th house also shows us how we get to learn about ourselves through other people. Why? Because this house is opposite from the 1st house, and the 1st house is your personality, your personal outlook. But when we get into the 7th house, this shows you why in life we learn a lot about ourselves in relationships. Even if it wasn't a twin flame relationship, soulmate relationship, you're always going to learn a lot about how you're personally seen, or how you personally conduct yourself when you jump into situations engaging with others. All right, now we got Aquarius here. We got Aquarius in the 7th house. All right, so off rip, who's the ruler? Saturn. We need to know what house Saturn is in. That's very important, because the house that Saturn is in is going to bring a huge influence into your 7th house. So I'm going to be saying a lot of things in this video, but depending on where Saturn is at, that's a whole nother energy that you deal with. That's a very strong theme in this house. The house that Saturn is in your birth chart may be where you met the person you're dating right now. Maybe where you met your husband, your wife, right? It may be where the fiance you engaged to right now, you met them from that house. A lot of your support come out this house. A lot of your fruitful relationships develop in this house, right? Flames, soulmates, they all come out this house by default. All right. So that's very important to understand where Saturn is at. Now, Aquarius is fixed air, ruled by Saturn, co-ruled by Uranus. Sorry guys if I'm moving around too much. I was on live last night, and people were saying somebody was saying I was moving around a lot. Boy, you're pacing, this, that, and the third. You can't stay still. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been up all night. I'm trying to get these energies out. You know, I'm on my last limb right now, guys. So excuse me if the pacing makes you a little anxious and nervous. But when we throw that air sign in here, Saturn ruled, Uranus influenced, off rip, we know we could be dealing with some Sapio-like energies in the 7th house. You feel me? These individuals gonna like to have their mind stimulated up in that 7th house. You best believe it, all right? Aquarius energy deals with the intellect. It deals with abstract thinking. It deals with thinking out the box. Those are the same things. So I don't know why I just said that right after the other. But it deals with, not fitting in with the in crowd, being more original. So the funny thing about it here is you're a Leo rising, so you naturally gain attention. Some of y'all be in the in crowd. Some of y'all leave the in crowd. A lot of Leo risings know what it feels like to deal with popularity or attention in their lives in some type of shape or form. You may have a real vivid, colorful appearance, or how you like to even to the way you dress up and shit. When you walk in a room, you may have you may have features about yourself that's just it's hard to not notice you when you walk in a room. It may be your big curly hair. It may be your piercings and your accessories. It may be your fit and how you put colors together, how you did your makeup. Like, it's Leo in the 1st house, y'all. So it's gonna be some creativity. It's gonna be something loud and vivid a lot of the times when it comes to how they personally express themselves and conduct themselves. And Leo deals with trendy energy, popular energy. So they could be the leader in the crowd. They could be the it girl, the it guy. Now, the funny thing about that is when they get into relationships, it be the people that's not in the in crowd that they be attracted to. They be attracted to people that don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You feel me? Leo rises with Aquarius in 7th house. When they get into relationships, they build attraction for sometimes people that don't reflect that shit, So you'll have 10 people dying to date you, and that one person that is like, what's so special about you? That person may get the Leo rising's attention right there. That person may get the Leo rising attention. the Leo rising, Aquarius in the 7th house, you may attract a lot of intellectual, smart individuals here. Different individuals though, different. Like I said, they're not of the in crowd. A lot of people you attract, they don't care about how they deal with attention, and they may not reflect you. They may not reflect the things that you want to be seen for. And this is something you're going to learn in being a Leo rising. Having Aquarius in the 7th house, when you engage and deal with relationships in the outside realm, you're going to walk into situations. This could happen at work. This could happen a lot in your intimate romantic relationships, where your dramatic ways, your dramatic forms of expression, or you just wanting to be seen for how you feel at the moment without some reason or logic behind it, that gets pinpointed in relationships. All right? So that Leo personality at times could feel like people need to be able to understand it by how it expresses something, or an energy that it's given off, but it could play out very passive aggressive energy, and it's almost like they expect people to read them at times. So the Aquarius in the 7th house, you're gonna learn now, Leo rising, you gotta articulate yourself. You gotta communicate or find ways to articulate properly, maturely how you feel. So you gotta make sure your feelings or your ego or your personal perception of things don't get in the way of being able to cooperate with others from a rational perspective, okay? So you may attract a lot of the partners that just be like, Aquarius and 7th house just may attract a lot of partners that just be wanting to tell you about your goddamn self here, Aquarius don't got no problem. That Leo-Aquarius relationship is mad funny. Aquarius ain't got no problem shooting Leo spirit down. It's the Saturn versus the Sun. The Sun is the light, Saturn don't reflect none of that shit. So, that's what happens here. But Leo risings find themselves attracted to that at times, Now, with Aquarius here, it's very likely, let me not say may, it's very likely that, this individual is going to want some space, boundaries in their relationship. They're going to be real independent individuals to the point that relationships can come off as a threat. Relationships can come off as a threat to their freedom, to their ability to move around and experience things. So they may not be down with getting settled early in life. Remember, this is a Saturn-ruled house. This is a Saturn-influenced house. What do we know about Saturn energies? They don't rush things. They deal with energies over time. How many years is a Saturn cycle? 30. So when we get into Saturn-ruled 7 houses, Capricorn or Aquarius in here, we could see marriage later on in life. Definitely after the first Saturn return. Most of the time. And this is also an area where they can't rush things with relationships, of course. I mean, nobody wants to rush anything with relationships, but that sense of space, independence. See, the thing here is the Leo rising, Aquarius in 7th house, they're gonna like having partners that got their own thing going on. They're gonna like being able to spend time with you, and when they leave to go do their own thing or leave into their own individual space or whatnot, with them knowing that you got what you got going on, you got your schedule, your career, maybe your friends, maybe you have to go see your trainer 5 times a week. You have to go to yoga 4 times a week. You're a part of this group or this environment or your work. You put this much time into career or something you're building up. They like that. They seek that. They actually want that because in their head, they love the sense of independence in somebody else. The sense of independence in people is something that they admire in others. Okay? And then that just prevents in their heads, it prevents clinginess in relationships, which they're not dealing with that. They're not dealing with that shit. And it's funny because Leo risings have a way of trying to demand attention at times. And that's what happens here. I'm glad I said that. With Leo sometimes demanding attention, you feel me, wanting to be seen for certain things, that's when they start learning through other people. Once again, 7th house, you learn about yourself through other people. This is when you start to understand, like, damn, it ain't about how I want it, when I want it. People move on their time. Some people are, you can't make people move on your time. You kind of start to learn that as a Leo rising, But, yes, Aquarius, independence is a big thing here. You know, they're gonna be more attracted to people that's that's not, don't care about being in the in crowd, don't care about really being. Excuse me, guys. I ran out of some storage. I'm gonna have to do some editing. But anyways, so what I was talking for like about a couple of seconds there, but I didn't know the phone cut off. They may hold a lot of emotion to themselves, you know, and that's something they're gonna have to learn to deal with. It's Saturn in the 7th house, so sometimes the communication may be there, but I always say Saturn, Aquarius are more purposeful communicators outside the air signs. Libras, Gemini, we just want to fucking talk. Aquarius is they there's a little bit more discernment from getting the thought out into, you know, actually verbalizing the shit. But you know, dealing with how they open up in relationships, that's gonna be something that they're gonna have to learn to work with here. They may attract, if I didn't say that already in the beginning, they may attract emotionally reserved individuals as well. Okay. Or more cool, calm, collective demeanor type individuals. Nonetheless, thinkers, people that rather rely on their intellect. Okay. Yes, another partner that's individual has their own thing going on that is very ideal, that makes them feel more secure in a relationship. Okay. Now, there's gonna be shifts in relationships with Aquarius in the 7th house where you're gonna go through battles dealing with your pride and being reasonable. Okay. Leo's prideful, but Aquarius prideful too. Maybe not as prideful, but they're stubborn. Shit, they stubborn. So when you put Aquarius in the 7th house here, there's gonna be times that, you know, when you get into relationships, you're really gonna have to learn to put your pride to the side and look at things from more logical perspective, more rational perspective. You gotta think things out here, you know. So there may be, and that shit is not easy, you know. It's not easy to deal with at times, you know, especially you. The sun rules your chart. You are a Leo rising. You are a Leo rising. You rule by the sun, you feel me? So your awareness of how things should be conducted in relationships, sometimes that shit get a little shaken up and rattled at times when it comes into having you know, balance out how you may feel about something in a relationship, or how your pride is set up, you know, how you feel like your partner or the relationship is making you look, and being able to actually be more realistic with the way that you observe things here in the relationship. All right. They're not gonna like people emotionally smothering them. They're not gonna like that. Okay. They're not gonna like that. And it's like with that alignment, with this alignment, Aquarius in the 7th house, like I said, all that clingy energy, whatever, there got to be some space. So when you deal with any form of projection, they sniff it from a mile away. It's like their antennas go up. Like, oh, I know you're not about to throw emotion on me. I know you're not about to bring me down with your emotion. The crazy thing is, Aquarius is such a humanitarian helper-like energy. So they may not be the best when it comes to like communicating to help your emotions, or like they may not be the best in being like jumping into counseling energies, but yeah, as a partner, they're very helpful. Aquarius in the 7th house, you know, these individuals, they can push out real helpful energies, real supportive energies here, you know, and they want to help their partners through more realistic ways, you know, helping them do things that's more tangible in their life. Is Saturn energy, probably helping them build more stability and security in their life, or helping them to think out the box. You know, these individuals can help you think out the box when you connect with them, to take your talents or your gifts or something that you're good at to build something that you probably didn't think about using it before. All right. Or they're manifest partners that do that to them. They'll manifest partners that pull this out of them. It's funny because the relationships I have with Leo risings, I have Aquarius in my 1st house. So when I run into Leo risings, my 1st house falls in their 7th house, my 7th house falls in their 1st house, and I realize a lot of the times I play out as a vessel to spark certain things in the Leo rising from more of an intellectual standpoint, helping them understand how they could use something they already have to help build. This is something you may attract a lot in your relationships, or just interacting with a lot of people in the world. Damn, my phone keep cutting off. I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing that I really don't want to do. All right, but I pretty much hovered over some main points here. one thing I didn't hover over is the Uranus-like influences that take place here. Now, your Aquarius is a real influential sign. So having it in the seventh house, Leo risings, when they start to connect with people, when they start to connect with people in the world, they start to realize they leave an impact or an influence on others, all right? And this happens when they connect with people. It could be in their intimate relationships, friends that they meet or whatnot, and they're going to manifest situations in their life where they come back, where people come back to them and tell them like, yo, I you told me that thing one day and I started looking at this way differently. You helped me experience this, or you put me on game where you taught me that one time, and now ever since that I had to let you know, ever since that, the way my perspective is this, that, and the third. So this is what Aquarius gonna do in the seventh house, connecting with other individuals, and this is what you're gonna manifest a lot too. Now the thing here is Uranus is power and control. It wants power, and it feel like it can change and transform whatever environments it's in. So yes, Leo risings, Aquarius seventh house, you play out real influential energies dealing when you're connecting to others and interacting with others. Excuse me. But you have to be careful trying to change others in your relationships. You got to be careful trying to change others. And then it's almost to the point you'll have people on your boat ready to ride. Like, you know what, I'm finna transform for this motherfucker. But if it's not in a genuine way, if somebody doesn't want to adapt to things that you're into for the sake of them being into it, not to please you in some type of shape or form, that's not going to be a healthy foundation in a relationship. And you also have to be careful of attracting individuals that's trying to change you. So be careful of the power and control issues in your relationships, because those are always going to be unhealthy foundations here. All right, guys. Let me make sure I just hovered over everything I wanted to hover over with this alignment. Be careful trying to change others, not trying to change you. All right. With great power comes great responsibility. So any influence you develop, being able that you're able to connect to others, always know that that is it's a sacred position to be in for people to look towards you for insight. Okay. Relationships can feel like it's threatening their freedom. It's Saturn influence. So things dealing with marriage and whatnot, that may develop later down the line in life. More stable relationships, committed, or developing more of more stable relationships. And when I say stable relationships, where what's being established between both parties doesn't transform too much in the individual life, but they understand the connection they have. That's going to be sometimes hard to establish in the 20s, because people like to mingle, go about their shit in their 20s or whatnot. The Leo rising is going to be dealing with the sun rules the Leo rising chart. So when it comes to experiences, creative endeavors, creative projects, there may be a lot of things they're already invested in. But when it gets into Aquarius in the seventh house, and when we get into like past Saturn return time or whatnot, now you start to put yourself in a situation where you feel like you could jump into relationships in a more stable sense. All right, you may be able to give more time to a relationship in some type of shape or form. But once again, Saturn just itself makes things longer. Saturn rotates in 30-year cycles and shit, returns in 30-year cycles. So marriage ain't coming after. Marriage is most likely here is after Saturn return time. I don't like to base too much all of marriage influences off the seventh house, and I'm more so a believer in spiritual marriage. Physical marriage, earthly marriage is really some whole other shit, but that's how that plays out. But yeah, the individuality in the partner is very big. Independence is very big here. Free-spirited partner. But most of the times, don't be surprised if the Leo rising, Aquarius in the seventh house, is more interested in more of an alternative relationship. You feel me? And with them, and this is one thing you got to understand. This is the last thing I'm going to leave y'all with. This is if you're dating a Leo rising, Aquarius in the seventh house person. Understand, if they come at you with the this is the type of space I'm in life right now. I'm not really in the committed thing, this, that, and the third, or this, that, and the third. I want to kick it with you in this type of way. Understand that is the starting ground with that Aquarius. Them giving you that, them communicating you or displaying how they conduct themselves differently in relationships and their different relationship ideals. Them doing that is actually showing the effort to build a connection. Understand that. And it may not have to stay there. So they may present that. You may be cool with it. Yeah, we can have space, this, that, and the third. Like, of course. And over time, you will see them inching in and building more of a closer connection. you know, but that's always that a lot of time that's the foundation they like to start with in relationships. It needs that, it needs to feel like it has its own space to think its own thoughts. All right. So let me go ahead, shut this video down, edit this, get this up. All right, guys. Make sure to like, share, subscribe to circulate these gems. Your relationships also go through a lot of transformations. They go through a lot of transformations and shifts, but that's more so off the power and control issue. So be careful. If the relationship starts, if there's a lot of energies with one of the parties trying to transform or change others in the early stage of the relationship, that's already an unhealthy foundation, and that's going to develop power and control issues and transformation later on. All right. So like, share, subscribe to circulate these gems. Tap into my website if you'd like to connect with the Lucky Libra. Tap into my Patreon if you'd like to dive deeper. Until next time, family, we're going to wrap up the Science Through the 7th House series with Pisces in the 7th House. Shout out to all my Virgo risings. Until next time, Pisces.